Hey, what's going on? Thank y'all for tuning in. It is the Sunday podcast of the Crawford Chronicles, man. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I'm one of your hosts, PK, and we're missing Homer Chris. He's got a sore throat tonight. I was yelling at 8-year-old kids on Saturday at his baseball game, and the Royal Rumble's on tonight, so he wanted to watch that. So, but no, I'll realize, man. Hope he starts to feel better. But we got Sweet B Bones Bryles here. Bryles, how are you, man?
I'm doing good, man. And I can attest to Chris not feeling good. We were at a baseball practice on Friday. And anyway, yeah, Friday and Saturday both. Anyway, he was just like barely like trying to speak words. And all of a sudden I'm like, okay, guys, plays at two. Here we go. So
Yeah.
anyway, I hope he gets better. He's going to start feeling better soon. But yeah, no, it's been a great weekend. Got to go play a little golf with my daughter. We got to see some incredible USA hockey. That was a whole lot of fun. I know this is a baseball podcast, but if you guys ever want to, just chat about hockey, reach out to me or PK on X. I guarantee you we'll talk you up on that. Anyway, other than that, yeah, it's been great. We got the first two spring training games under our belt at this point. I know we're going to get into that in the podcast, but PK, how was your weekend, bud?
That was good. Another round of volleyball tournaments on Saturday. Did 3-0 on those. So I think we're off for a weekend, and we do it again in 2 weeks. But other than that, man, it was uneventful. Other than that, right? So, but yeah, man, I got to watch some hockey this morning before church. I was telling Bryce before we went on. I got to watch the first two periods of it, and then I tried my best to not look at my phone the rest of the day because I wanted to see the ending. But that didn't happen. So I saw the clip of the golden goal. So yeah, man. And then Canada, Canada was already whining after it ended. We're not gonna spend a lot of time on USA hockey, but like the coach was complaining that it was 3-on-3, and they don't do that in the Stanley Cup. They don't do that in the playoffs and shootouts and all the things. So
yeah, stop complaining, eh?
Sorry, we beat y'all. Period. End of story. And then to segue into that, or to continue in that, George Springer shows up to BP today in a USA hockey sweater.
Yes.
That was pretty awesome. So shout out to Springer, for rocking USA. It was a great game, man. It was a great game. I was pretty pumped to see that they won. So now Houston just needs an NHL team, and then we can go watch hockey all the time. But that's not why you come to this podcast. You come to this podcast to talk some Astros baseball. But like Bryles said, man, me and him get down a little bit of hockey too. So. 2 games over the weekend. Yesterday was the opening game for spring training. Astros versus the Nationals. And a good friend of ours made a post yesterday after the game, and he wanted instant overreactions from yesterday. And like the biggest, a couple of talking points from yesterday, I guess, is the fact that the Astros walked 11 times yesterday, and they only could muster 1 run, right? So my overreaction to him was, is it too soon to say, here we go again? Right. All, tongue in cheek. But at the same time, I mean, it's game 1 of spring training. You still got several games to go. This is the first time these guys are seeing live BP outside of their own pitchers. So it was just good to have baseball back. What do you think about Saturday, Bryce?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It was great to have baseball back. Spring training, as I've mentioned a number of times, is like one of my favorite parts of all of this. You've got a smaller stadium. You get to be up close to all these guys. It is absolutely fantastic. So the fact that we got the first game on Saturday was awesome. By the way, we also got to see it. If you had the Sports City Houston Network Plus app, you got to actually see it live too. So I know we were talking about that at the end of the last podcast. I actually did not only just, go ahead and download it, but I actually paid for it too. So it was really cool to get to see it.
Nice.
One of the things I'll say.
Are you going month to month, or are you going yearly?
I'm going month to month because, well, let's be honest. I'm there for the Astros, right?
That's right.
So
that's right.
I don't need to pay for those other months. But anyway, the one thing I want to remind everybody before we start breaking down some of these spring training games, and that's not just the 2 that we had Saturday and Sunday, but this goes all the way through spring training. Remember a couple of things. 1, these are guys, we're throwing dudes out there just to see what they got. So you are going to see, Jeremy Pena sprinkled in. You're going to see a Jose Altuve sprinkled in over here. You're going to see some of these starters getting their reps. Don't get me wrong. These guys have to get their reps. But at the same time, you're going to look at that lineup before the game starts, get super excited and be like, okay, who is who? And don't worry. We're doing the same thing. It's, we talk about Astros baseball all the time, but we're doing the exact same thing. We don't know who all these guys are. So that's one of the things that I love about spring. We're excited to get to see these guys coming in, getting some reps, showing up with number 87 on his back, and you have no idea who this guy is. And then all of a sudden he goes like 2 for 3 and ends up winning the game for you. That's the exciting part about spring training. So anyway, the first game on Saturday, we did get to play the Nationals, which makes sense. I mean, we shared the park with them. So why not? That's the way you're supposed to get it started, right? So we had some pretty exciting things on there. One of the things I know, Chris is not here, so I'll go ahead and speak for him. Matthews had a really good game. He had a great defensive play out there. One of the other highlights that I really liked that I saw was Blue Ball was just throwing straight gas on Saturday. He looked like he was primed and ready to go. So I know these guys are going to be tinkering with some pitches. They're going to be trying to, probably maximize a little bit of their velocities as far as, getting ready and ramped up, getting their arms ready for the regular season. But I will tell you right now, Blue Ball, for the very first game of the season, he looked like he'd been working all off season prior to spring training, getting ready for this. So if that's what we're seeing out of this guy moving into the 2026 season, if he doesn't make the Astros straight out of training, I guarantee you he's going to be the first call up out of Sugarland after we get something going on. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to PK, and then we'll talk about a little bit more of this.
Yeah, Colton Gordon and AJ Blueball went 2 innings with 2 Ks and 1 walk. That's their line, right? We know what Colton Gordon, provided for this team the majority of all last season, right? He gave you 5 innings. He gave you, 3 to 4 runs, give up 3 to 4 runs, right? I bet he was consistent every single day that he was asked to throw, right? Blue Ball, we saw him come up first. We saw him get, kind of get shelled a little bit, saw him go back down, saw him come back up. And then he became this long reliever that was freaking nails and was pumping 98 up to the plate, right? Like that second time he got called back up, it was like a different pitcher. And we talked about it all offseason till
good point.
It's one of the topics that we talked about all offseason is of like, what is Blue Ball's role on this squad in this rotation? Is he that long reliever, right? That we can count on to come out of the pen, or, should he be fighting for that number 5, number 6 spot in the rotation? Espada said that we're going to run 6-man rotations, right? So there's a really good chance that the dude, coming out of spring, if he continues to have a spring, now it is just 1 start, but also given how he finished last season, he's got a chance to make this club out of spring. So that was really sweet to see. It's kind of those guys, Colton Gordon specifically, picked up right where he left off, right? Blue Ball looks the same way. Uola was the black eye of the game. Like he didn't have that good of an outing. Let's see, 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 run, 1 earned, 3 walks. That was the big thing, was the 3 walks for Miguel. So I think that's kind of been his MO, his control so far in his career, or at least with us, right? So it's just something for him to work on. And again, Braz, you kind of touched on it. Chris has touched on it before. You come into spring to work on things that you've been working on in the off season to tighten that up, before you break camp. So yes, he needs to tighten down the walks. I mean, these major league hitters, right? If you were to make the club, these major league hitters, like they really don't chase unless it's old Jeremy Pena on a down and away slider, right? But Uola's thing is he's got the gas. He's got to get more control. First outing for him, man. Let's see how he responds the next time he goes out. One of the things that Chris texted us over the weekend, and we're going to keep talking about Chris did this, Chris did that, because he's not here to speak, right? So
fair enough.
What we were kind of discussing in our online chat was the aggressiveness of the Astros on the base pass on Saturday. Right now, I was stuck in a gym all day, and it has terrible service. So every time I would try to pull the game up, I couldn't. So I'm having to go off of box scores. But Zach Cole had 3 stolen bases on Saturday, right? That was, I mean, we didn't have guys stealing that bases like that at all last season. Again, it's just kind of just doing a bright spot on what we hope that we can see now that we have, we know not now, but we have some more speed on this team potentially, right? We know Zach Cole is fighting for an outfield spot, get the inside track probably to that number 4 guy, all right, number 3.5 guy if you want to go that route. The dude's got some wheels. He stole 3 bases. So, and I think Whitcomb got one. Yeah, Whitcomb got one also. So he stole 4 bases on Saturday, right out of the gate. Aggressive on the base pass, right? And to your point earlier, bro, I was like, this is game 1. We got a lot of things to work on, right? We're gonna the Saturday lineup was a lot of guys that we knew, right, or names that we heard of. Will Bush was the only one that we needed, that I needed to look up, and then we got my fam from the Valley told me who it was later on, So I'm just pumped that there's baseball, man. That's what it boils down to. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I'll touch on the Will Bush thing real quick. It's like I didn't know who he was either, and then I very quickly found out who he was, and that dude's ready to go, man.
Yeah.
So he may not be on the 40-man squad like coming up by the end of spring training, but at the same time, he looks like he's got some good promise. So that's a great prospect we've got. Let's see what he can actually do and develop in spring training. And then hopefully maybe start out in like Corpus Christi, make his way up to Sugarland, by mid-season, something like that. And then who knows? You might even see him on the big squad before the end of 2026. But to your point on the wheels that we had on the first game, that was probably my biggest takeaway of that game by far. Is it looked, first of all, Zach Cole reminded me of Michael Bourne. For all you guys out there before that remember the pre 100 loss seasons, Michael Bourne is the one that was taking over center field, and that dude could steal bases anytime he wanted to. And that's the way I kind of feel like what Zach Cole looked like on Saturday. So if we've got a Zach Cole that can hit for average, that can steal bases at will and do that, let me tell you, just like PK said, he is going to be primed for a spot on this roster and more than likely a starting spot on this roster. So we'll see what he does. Keep in mind, he only had a cup of coffee in the major leagues last year. So it's not a guarantee that he's going to be not only a starter, but it's not also a guarantee that he's going to be on the 26-man squad to start the year off. But if he does what he did on Saturday, I guarantee you that it's going to look really, really promising for him moving forward. So hopefully he's able to continue that. But the other thing to that too is, don't get me wrong, he's fast. But more importantly, it's the mindset that we have from our coaching staff. So that means that you've got your first, your third base, and you've got a spot of all these coaches right now. They're all in sync, and they're saying, hey, listen, we're going to play small ball. We're going to steal when we can. We're going to do everything we can to get that extra base. Now, I understand that over this weekend, we did definitely have base runners that didn't score. So I know that's Chris's favorite thing to talk about. But at the same time, it was very promising to see that these guys are actually, looking to steal, looking to get that extra base, turn and look, go for as much as they possibly can take away. Because I guarantee you we are going to need that, not necessarily right now, but we're going to need that later on in the season. And that is the difference between a team that makes the playoffs and the team that misses the playoffs by 3 games. So let's keep that up. Let's keep it going and go from there.
Yeah, no, for sure. To keep the tradition of letting our people that listen know how many Astros are left on base in honor of Chris. It was 11 yesterday.
Oh, good Lord.
11 yesterday, and I think it was 7 today. So in honor of Chris, y'all have a total of 18 guys left on base over the weekend. But again, man, look, it's spring training. The wins and losses don't matter. You're working on small things as individually, and you're working on bigger things as a team. You're trying to single out the players that, right, either need to move up from double to triple to, a surprise to the big squad. right? Yes, winning's cool, right? But like I said, in spring training, it's working on those small things to get ready for when you break camp. You're ready to go. So let's move on to Sunday. Today's game. Pena got a start. Taylor Trammell, Jake Myers, Ethan Fry, DH. He was from the pick from last year, LSU. Let's see, Jack Winkler. We'll talk about him in a minute. Colin Price, Walter Yannick. He got a start today. So to sum it up today, like I said, I didn't watch a lot of this. I caught the very end. You do lose 6-5. Astros made a comeback in the ninth inning with a let's see, I forget who did it, but it was a 2-out, or it was a 1-out RBI single, 2 RBI single. It was 6-4 at that point, and then you had Justin Thomas at the plate with Ethan Fry on deck. Now the called third strike was high, looked high live, but he took too long to hit the ABS, right? And so they didn't review it. Right, didn't review it. I think the dugout was telling him, at least that's what they're saying on the broadcast. The dugout was calling for him to the head tap. Took too long, and you lose 6-5. But you had a little bit more offense today. Pena, again, we went over 2. Taylor Trammell over 2. Jake 1 for 3 with the RBI. Ethan Fry was 0 for. Jack Winkler hits the first bomb, I think, for the Astros.
First at bat, yep,
bomb out to left. And then Walter Yannick, man, he went 1 for 2 with a run. Yep, 1 for 2 with the run. So I'm pretty pumped about Walker Yannick. Going to be paying pretty close attention to him this season because he is positioning himself to be the future Astros catcher. So I'll be pretty interested in him. And Ethan Fry. I mean, Ethan Fry, we saw the videos of during the week where he was just mashing on the backfields. I think we talked about it on Thursday. His first game, 0 for 3. He had 2 Ks, so he's tightened that up. He did get a walk. But still, man, it's Astros baseball. It's real baseball. It's game 2. Astros are off tomorrow. And we'll get into the starting pitchers for Tuesday and Wednesday here in a minute. But, Roz, what did you see from today's game? Mike Burrows was on the bump. Our first look at him. So what did you see?
Burrows looked good. And not only did Burrows look good, but you heard from a lot of the Astros, that were giving comments and anything like that, saying that they really liked his stuff. So, I'm super excited to have him. Hopefully he's going to end up being like, something in the back end of our rotation, like maybe a 4 or a 5 is kind of what I'm thinking right now. So if he keeps this up, that's what we're looking at. I will tell you one thing that I was a little disappointed in. Roddery Munoz, who we had in our Rule 5 draft, we picked him up from St. Louis. Everybody was super excited because the guy pitches 100 miles an hour plus, and he was throwing straight gas right down the middle, unfortunately. So he got tuned up for 4 runs in 1 inning pitched, and didn't have his best day. Now, this doesn't mean, once again, that he's done, he's over, any of that kind of silly stuff like that. Who knows what was going on? He could have been trying to throw a slurve or something like that, or some, fork fastball that he's never thrown before. But that's what spring training's about. These guys work in the off season. They go, they get tuned up, they get here, the pitching coach gets a hold of them and says, hey, I noticed this after I've looked at, 15 hours of your videos all together, and saying like, hey, I think this is the pitch you need to add to your repertoire. And then all of a sudden they come out in the first game and they try it, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I don't know if that was the case with Munoz today, but at the same time, he didn't have his best stuff. So the only reason I even bring this up is he was a Rule 5 draft. So if he doesn't come out of camp making the 40-man roster, then we have to give him back up to St. Louis. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. But just keep a close eye on him, see what happens. We'll go from there. But yeah, we had a lot of the young kids actually come out and look really good. So I was very excited to see some of these minor league guys, that we've talked about over and over again, actually perform, go out there, get their legs stretched out, and actually do what they were supposed to do. So it was, even though we lost this game and we lost on Saturday, I know we're 0 for 2, but guys, this really looked pretty good. So don't get discouraged yet. It's spring training. just like everybody talks about NFL football, you're not going to win the preseason and then all of a sudden win the Super Bowl. It's the exact same thing with Major League Baseball. You're not going to win spring training and then all of a sudden you're the World Series favorite. So just keep that in mind. Just enjoy baseball while we've got it. Get to see some live baseball and have some fun.
Yeah, I saw some clips from Burrows today, and so that changeup is disgusting. Disgusting.
Filthy,
I mean, dude,
man.
it was like 96, 97 fastball, and then he, threw the changeup after that. I mean, it's filthy. So he goes 2 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 Ks. And I think to end his day, he ended it on a K. And that was a slider low and away on that one. It was pretty filthy also. So, look, man, I mean, that could be one of the sneaky good pickups of the offseason, not just for the Astros, but I mean, in the entirety of, baseball. We know what these pitchers do, or we know what happens to these pitchers when they come over and they get in the lab, right? We've seen it. There's a track record of it, right? And not just Garrett Cole type guys. I mean, our boy Kikuchi, right? We gave so much crap, right? So much crap 2 years ago for it. And, so any level of pitching. So, I mean, I hope he continues to do his thing, man, because it looked pretty disgusting today. Yeah, man, look, not a lot of stuff. I mean, you went 3 for 5 with runners in scoring position. You left 7 on there on base. Yannick got another stolen base, so you've stolen 5 bases in 2 games. I don't recall the Astros doing that last season. I mean, I was trying to think a minute ago when we were talking about the stolen bases. Of course, you got Pena, right? Speed wise, I mean, Cam, he gallops when he runs, so he eats up a lot of ground. Myers had a few attempts. I don't see Myers as being like the speedster. And I was trying to go around the corner, around the outfield. I mean, like, and infield. I mean, the other guys, we're not really a base running team. So you got these young guys that can eat up some ground, and it's be really cool if that aggressiveness on the base path relative to base stealing continues to be a trend for us, because that just makes us even more dangerous, right?
I'd love to see it.
Oh, dude, it would be awesome. It would be awesome to see that. So, yeah, Winkler had his bomb first at bat, 397 foot. It was a bomb, right?
Yeah.
But how good is it to hear TK and Blummer back on TV, man? Like, seriously.
No, it's fantastic, man. That's it feels like baseball again. That's the best part, because I mean, you don't always get your regular broadcast guys doing spring training games. So that's fantastic. And you got Julia on the field too, so that's been kind of cool too. But to your point,
what I love watching spring training ball is, like, you can hear the fans clearly, right? You can hear the fans clearly. You can hear the bat weight being hit, taken off the bat. You can hear the Velcro strap. Today, if you wanted to get nauseous, you could just watch the center field camera, right? I mean, it was pretty windy.
Fair enough.
You know what I'm saying? And so you forget, like, how intimate these aren't minor league, stadiums, but I mean, they're spring training stadiums, right? But, like, you forget how intimate that setting is, right? Everything's kind of right there on top of the field. So Chris is probably listening. He's going to be there in a couple of weeks. He's going to have a lot of footage that he's already promised us, right? So he'll get a firsthand view of it, man. But, like, you can just hear so much more of the game on spring training because of the stadium. So that's a great way to to break into the season. Getting that, maybe just tidy up the camera view in center field. I know it was pretty windy, out there in Florida with that front that came through on Saturday. But either way, dude, it's baseball. It's here. You put baseball on every day. It's fantastic. I want to tell you about. Let me pull this picture up. Let's see. Astros are off tomorrow, right? Tuesday.
Correct.
Costanza will pitch against the Mets. Wednesday, HB will go against the Marlins. And then the first split squad on Thursday, one will stay at West Palm Beach to host the Mets, and the other will travel to Jupiter to face the Cardinals. Espada hasn't named the starters for Thursday's game, but you got Costanza and HB going this week. Look, we know what Alexander did for this club. I mean, I sound like a broken record, but really, I mean, it is. It's Brandon Walter, Jason Alexander, Colton Gordon. So when these guys come up and get an opportunity to throw again, I think Alexander is probably one of the bigger ones that has probably more riding on it, right? Because you didn't expect him at all to do what he did for this club last year. I mean, the dude was going and giving I'm drawing a blank. quality start after quality start after quality start last year. Like I didn't expect it. I don't think you guys did. So I think he's got a lot to still prove. If he can replicate the way he, finished last season or pitched most of the season for us.
No, I totally agree. And you took the words out of my mouth. I mean, he looked like Maddox by the end of the season, just not necessarily throwing gas, just being able to place pitches anywhere he wanted them in getting strikeouts. It was insane what he was absolutely able to do. And the fact that we got him for almost nothing is even more crazy. So, it just proves to what our coaching staff can actually do as far as all our pitchers are concerned. And, I would love to see him repeat that, but it is not expected. Let's put it that way. Yeah. I do think that absolutely. He's going to probably regress a little bit, but dude, if we get everything out of him like we did last season, listen, guys, watch out because I'm sorry. This pitching staff is going to be absolutely filthy if we get out of him what we did last year. So anyway, we'll see. I'm excited to see that. And then of course you got Hunter Brown starting. Of course, that's going to be really good to see too. He's got to get ramped up. We got to get him going before the season starts as our starting pitcher for game 1 on opening day.
Yep.
And then other than that, guys, get used to seeing some of these guys from, AA and AAA because you're going to lose a couple guys. We're going to lose the Italian Stallions to the World Baseball Classic and Jeremy Pena. We're going to lose him too. So you're going to get to see some guys get some opportunities, may or may not have their name on the back of the jersey, but it's still going to be fun to watch. And keep in mind, World Baseball Classic, who wants to get up at 3 a.m. with me and watch like Chinese Taipei play Japan? I'm all about it.
Yeah, I mean, look, and then on top, even World Baseball Classic, you have the College Baseball Classic in town, I think this weekend.
Heck yeah. Yes.
The Horns are in town. You got a pretty good lineup. You got some college baseball in town. It's always cool to hear those composite bats there at Minute Maid. I don't know if anybody's been. I'm sure a lot of people have, but it's really cool that this had that atmosphere. But yeah, World Baseball Classic. I think it's in 2 weeks. I think it's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, they report in 5 days, and then it's 2 weeks before we see the first game.
Yeah, so get ready to get your I see your USA lid, right?
Yes, sir.
It's time represent the flag again. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in, man. Chris, I hope you feel better, sir. We will have everybody back on Thursday. Hope you guys enjoy it. As always, please, thank you for the continued support. Make sure you go also on Instagram now at Crawford Chronicles. There, still on X at Crawford Chron, still on YouTube at the same Crawford Chronicles, and then on Facebook. So, thank everybody for tuning in. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. I'm PK at Sweet Bee Bones Bryles, and this is the Crawford Chronicles.
Hook 'em.
Let's go. Yeah.
The boy's going to beat Coastal Carolina. I love it.
I know. It's going to be good, man. It's going to be good.